Good evening. This is Jaxel from 8wayrun.com. I noticed many tournament organizers are reluctant to submit their events to our ranking ladder system for fear of the process being too cumbersome and complicated. I am making this video to show how easy it is if you are using the TO Tournament Organizer program, which you should be using anyways, as it will make your tournaments run smoother and more efficient. We will begin by looking at an event I've already started in TO. As you can see, I am using the North Carolina February 2009 Regional for Soul Calibur 4 as an example. I like to run all my events from a single file, with a single database of players. This way, if a player has attended one of my events in the past, they will already be entered into the system, and I won't have to go hunt down their ranking information later. I have creatively named my previous tournaments Prior Event 2 and Prior Event 1. Viewing the entrance to this tournament, we can see a list of players who attended prior events. As you can see, their ranking ladder ID information has already been filled out in the name fields from those events. Adding players to this event is as simple as finding their names on the list and double-clicking. Ace Unlimited, Ando, Big Boy, Jason L, and finally, the second Kira. However, 5 players in this event are not yet listed, so they must be added as new players. Starting with Dr. Hat, we then have I Love Easy, Longshot, Wing Zero, and Zeomar. Now that all entrants have been added, we can return to the details page and select the seeding method. Normally, you would want to seed your tournaments by location, so that players who came together don't end up against each other in the first round. However, for this tournament, which is a regional, I will set the seeding to random. Once done, simply click Generate a Bracket. After generating the bracket, we can progress the tournament as needed. This tournament has already been run, so I am simply progressing it based on the results which have been posted previously in the Aftermath forum on 8wayrun.com. It's very easy, just double-click people's names and they will move on to the next round. The TO program also supports many other beneficial features such as metrics, wait times for players who are in the event, as well as floating. I won't get into it more, but you can discover it on your own. As the tournament moves on, you can view the results by clicking on the Results tab. When the tournament is over, you should almost be ready to submit your event to the ranking ladder system. However, before submitting your event, you should make sure you have done your best in filling out any missing ranking ladder ID information. As you can see, on the entrance list, 5 new players we have just added do not have any ID information in their column. You can get this ID information in 2 different ways. The easiest method is to ask the player if they know their ranking ladder ID when they sign up for the event. If they do, they can give it to you. Most players don't know their ranking ladder ID, so most likely you won't be so fortunate. The other method is pretty simple. Go to the 8wayrun ranking ladder page and search for that player's name using the player search field. In this case, I will search for Wing Zero. At the top of the list, I can see Wing Zero has a ranking ladder ID registered to 98. Remember that these IDs are ranking ladder IDs, not the linked forum ID which is listed on the other side of the page. Now I return back to TO and enter the information by right-clicking on the player and entering their ranking ladder ID in the name field. In this case, for Wing Zero, his ID was 98. This number must be placed into the name field and nowhere else. Next, I will search for the player Longshot. The search returned no results, so I can assume that Longshot has never attended a ranked event before. Because of this, I will leave his name field blank. For the remaining players in the bracket, I have already checked in advance to save time on this video. For instance, I know Zeomar has an ID of 293, while both Dr. Hat and I Love Easy are new players to the ranking system and therefore will be left blank, just like Longshot. As a tournament organizer, it is extremely important that you get this ranking ladder ID information correct. While I do my best to check every tournament submission for errors before I enter it into the system, I could miss something. If a player has an incorrect ranking ladder ID listed, their score could end up being credited to a completely different player. They will not benefit from their performance, while this completely different player will. Once you are done, simply save your file and head to the event submission form on the 8wayrun.com ranking ladder page. Scrolling down to the bottom, you will come to a form where you can submit your event. Event name would be the North Carolina February Regional, which took place on February 28th, and I'm going to guess at 2 p.m. The venue was Lucky's Card Shop in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I'm not sure, but I believe it was organized by either Zeomar and Seren. For example's sake, I'm using Zeomar. This was a regional, so make sure to mark it in the correct category. Clicking the Browse button, find the file, then hit Submit. After the page refreshes, you will see a notice that your event has been received and will be reviewed in due time. You are done. However, your event won't go into the system immediately as I review all submissions for errors first. Thank you for your time, and I hope this video has shown how easy it is to submit your tournament to the 8wayrun.com ranking ladder system.